Welcome to the Deep Wealth Podcast, where you learn how to extract your business and personal deep wealth. I'm your host, Jeffrey Feldberg. This podcast is brought to you by Deep Wealth and the 90-Day Deep Wealth Experience. When it comes to your business deep wealth, your exit or liquidity event is the most important financial decision of your life. But unfortunately, up to 90% of liquidity events fail. Think about all that time and your hard-earned money wasted. Of the quote-unquote successful liquidity events, most business owners leave 50% to over 100% of the deal value in the buyer's pocket and don't even know it. I should know. I said no to a seven-figure offer and yes to mastering the art and the science of a liquidity event. 2 years later, I said yes to a different buyer with a 9-figure deal. Are you thinking about an exit or liquidity event? Don't become a statistic and make the fatal mistake of believing the skills that built your business are the same ones to sell it. After all, how can you master something you've never done before? Let the 90-Day Deep Wealth Experience and the 9-step roadmap of preparation help you capture the best deal instead of any deal. At the end of this episode, take a moment and hear from business owners like you who went through the Deep Wealth Experience. Welcome to the Deep Wealth Podcast, and today we have an author and subject matter expert and some terrific insights that are really going to help us as business owners because, as we say at Deep Wealth, your health is your wealth. It just isn't always about the business. Instead, it's a whole combination of things. If you're doing well on the health side, you'll do well on the business side, but you've got to have your health there first. And particularly if you're thinking of having a liquidity event, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy. And you got to be in top form. So if you want to capture the best deal, and that's what we're all about with the Deep Wealth and the 9-step roadmap, we got to make sure that you're in top form, both on the mental health side as well as on the physical side. So today with Amir, we're going to be talking about the mental health side of things. And unfortunately, this is a topic that needs more attention, particularly coming out of the pandemic. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Amir, welcome to the Deep Wealth Podcast. It's a pleasure to have you with us. And Amir, there's always a story behind the story. So Amir, what's your story? What got you to where you are today?
Well, Jeff, thanks for having me on your podcast. And I'm excited to be here. My story started in June 2015 when I started my personal growth journey. I was living my life before autopilot. I did not have any health, may it be emotional, physical, mental. I was experiencing negative emotion such as anger, fear, rage, frustration, anxiety, envy, jealousy on a predominant basis all my life. And also I developed some physical ailment such as chronic constipation, chronic cough, goes on 7 months in a year, and other issues as well. Because mind and body is connected in my experience. And if you have issue with emotions or mental issues, it's gonna show up in your body and vice versa. And I have been through getting help on a medical field like psychiatrist, cognitive behavior therapy. I had 50, 60 sessions done. I see doctors, they did all the tests, but they weren't able to cure my problem. I had some EMDR therapy as well. I had many types of help, but it goes on. And at one point, I didn't think I was able to get better or be happy, feel joy, something like that. So basically, I was hopeless and I wanted to end my life. For a year and a half, I was just suicidal. And I took many medicine like Abilify, Paxil, Depacort, Effexor, all those. And they did not help me. And worse, they even give me different side effects. So when I got well this year, I wanted to share my story because people can just, it's like naturally you go to see a psychiatrist, you go see a psychologist or doctor, get your test done. But they help you, but they don't really help you. They only treat symptoms. That's my experience. So in June 2015, I got married and I wanted to make some more money to support my family. That is how it started. I had no intention whatsoever to grow personally, none whatsoever. But I did course with Bob Proctor for almost coaching almost a year. And that's how I started. And with this coaching, when I was done, I was still unhealthy. I was still sick, but it gives me understanding. One thing that is, if I wanted to, I can improve my life for better. And from there on, I did many things. But at the end, I improved my life. And now I feel joy, peacefulness, happy, pleasure, all the good feelings. And also I'm healthy on a physical level. But that's why I wrote this book. I thought that this book could inspire others so they can look within and improve their life, may it be physical, mental, or emotional.
So, Amir, thank you, firstly, for sharing your story and being so vulnerable. And so, we're going to talk about that. And for the listeners, we'll have this in the show notes Amir's book, From Suicidal to Serene, where Amir goes through his journey. But, Amir, let's go back to when you're in the darkest of dark days. And you said something interesting just now. You said you had no intentions of getting yourself into that position. It just started innocently enough. You wanted to support your family, you wanted to earn more money. I mean, doesn't it sound like everyone listening to the Deep Wealth podcast? We want to have a better life. We want to create a lifestyle for ourselves, for our family. And so now that you have the benefit of hindsight, Amir, because I presume you didn't just wake up one day and you had a mental health issue. I would imagine that it took place over a period of time. What were some of the early warning signs that you may have missed that, knowing what you know now, you would have said, hey, let me just put a pause here. Something's not right because of A, B, C, and D of what's going on?
Well, that's a good question. Thing is, if you're happy or if you're healthy and you got an accident or you get divorced or you lose your job and then you go on the other side, you have a comparison. You know how it feels to be healthy or how you feel to be good. Unfortunately, I did not have such comparison because, as described in my book, when I was growing up, my father and mother, they had depression, but they were never get diagnosed. And the statistic is almost, I think, half, I don't know, it's a big percent, I forgot, they get depression, but they never get diagnosed or get treated. That's the worst part. My mother and father, they were all angry, they have all trauma, and I was raising up. And that's how I got programmed, genetically and environmentally. If I go by childhood, I don't know what happiness is. I never experienced. So I could not even compare. So I thought that is how my life is, and that is how it's gonna be, was written in your stones. That is how it is. So frankly, I never tried to improve anything. I didn't even know how to improve anything. If it just goes on and on. But I knew I used to get angry on road, honk at people, really get loud. And the job I had, I get fight with customers and they complained to my manager. He was rude, he was bitter, and I survived my job because I was good at what I used to do. And I was committed, I was hardworking. So only surviving and living day by day, just like hell. And I thought eventually, I would die one day and I would have peace. That is how I feel. You see my point? Because I had no comparison. So I did not know anything is wrong. And when I did got some help from doctor, I consulted 2 psychiatrists and I got 2 psychologists. They were doing a cognitive behavior therapy, but did not help me. And like I said, many medicine did not help me. The first thing is the cognitive behavior therapy. It only deals with your conscious mind, how you think. But unfortunately, you have a subconscious mind. And most traumas in your childhood, even when you are conceived, they are held in your subconscious mind. So they just lay there and you don't know how to do. So I got the help, but I was not getting any better. And all the medicine which I describe in my book, they're giving me even more a side effect. So that is how I was, I had no comparison.
And so, Amir, it sounds like a few things were going on that weren't the best for you. And you're sharing that in your family has a history of mental health issues, and that you growing up never really knew what happiness was. And so, for our listeners out there, again, this is a topic that isn't really comfortable for a lot of people to talk about, but we're taking this on here in the Deep Wealth podcast in an effort not just for you, for your family, for your loved ones, but for your employees as well. Because, Amir, you're one of the few who was able to say, hey, there's a problem here. Conventional treatment with doctors and medication isn't working for me. And we're going to talk in a moment about your journey that took you from not really having a terrific outlook on life. And you said in your own words that you just hoped it would all end one day, sooner than later, to now having a life where you're paying it forward, you're helping others, you have optimized your health for happiness and your life for happiness. Amir, were there, again, any telltale signs that led you down this path? So we understand that your family had issues growing up, and partly perhaps there is some genetics involved here. But looking back now, anything that you can look back now and say, hey, you know what, if I would have seen this kind of behavior or this kind of feeling, that would have alerted me that something's going on here, that I should stop what I'm doing or at least reevaluate.
Yeah, so in my experience, sometimes I see people get in their car, turn on loud music, and they try to dampen their feeling with the loud music. Some people, they try to work 60, 70, 80 hours and just try to just be absorbed in work and forget about their emotion. Different people do a different way. Some do, I call shop therapy. They try to buy and buy things. So buying things just to, not because you want it or you need it, just to buy, just to get some kind of a high, forget about your emotional health, or turning on loud music, or drinking lots of alcohol, excess, you're getting fight with people. If you are into romantic relationship, you're getting breaking up, or worse, you're attracting a negative partner. It's a trend. So, some woman or girl, they get one guy, he's abusing, beat them up, and they go to second and third and fourth. And guess what? They all abusing men. So I don't think is a coincidence. I don't believe in life anything like coincidence. Thing happens for a reason. The universal laws for governs our life, may it be our laws of biology or laws of mind or other laws. But that's how we look into. But you have to have a desire, first of all, to live a better life. That's the first thing. If you don't have a desire, then you're going to do all those things and just trying to not receive feeling and just goes on like most people live or used to live at least 50s, 60s, 70s because they did not have any awareness. And we don't want to think about your emotions and take a time to understand what it means, what science is telling you.
And so, Amir, you bring up some interesting points, and I want to go now to your journey that healed you. And in your book specifically, I want to go to chapter 6, and then we'll go from chapter 6 to some of the other chapters. But you say something interesting in chapter 6, and for most people listening, they're not going to believe what you're saying, because in chapter 6, the title of it is Food Healed My Body and Mind. And I know there's listeners who are listening right now, and they're thinking, come on, medication didn't heal you. We know this is an issue out there. If it's not Amir, it's who knows how many other people. Come on, Amir, food really healed your body and mind. Are you playing a joke on us? What's going on here? So, Amir, walk us through specifically what you did with the food, what you stopped doing, what you started doing that really began to make a difference for you.
Okay, so let me just say that food is a big topic. It's a huge topic. So I'm going to try to simplify so I can give you answer. So I try to eat lots of raw, whole food, like vegetable, steamed food, and cut down on deep fried food that is high on carbohydrate. So cut down my carbohydrate. So basically a right protein, right fat, some fiber in the form of vegetable, and cut down my carbohydrate and drinking plenty of water, nuts, seeds, chia seed, flax seed, all those seeds, and some supplement depending. So that is how I try to improve my diet and food, that can help your gut, because all your immune system is on your gut. And if you eat all those vegetable and all those whole food, not just processed food, it helps your gut and immune system and you feel good. Now, let me give you a couple of things what food can do and food cannot do. If you have any cognitive distortion or nothing thinking or emotional reasoning, food will not heal you. It will not. And if you have a trauma lies in your subconscious mind or limiting belief that I am not enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not young enough, it will not heal you. But what food can do is when it gives you, energy and nourishment to your body and gut, you have a good feeling and your mind chemicals like dopamine, all those, and you feel good. So when you feel good, you have more. It's not 100% solution, but it's one area I work on with food.
And so, Amir, what I'm really hearing you say, and for listeners, we're not going to go down the rabbit hole of, okay, was Amir on a keto diet or a carnivore diet or a vegetarian or whatever else it may be. But the key insights that I'm hearing from you, Amir, is number one, you didn't quite say it this way, but you stopped all the junk food, all the sugary foods, all the fast foods stopped. And regardless whether you had protein that was animal protein or not, you were having whole foods. And to me, from what I'm hearing you say, is that may not heal some of the mental issues per se, but it does give you clarity. It does have you feeling better. And it began your journey to healing yourself. I know in your chapter, you talk about something called epigenetics. And for our listeners out there who may not be familiar with epigenetics, it's a school of thought that says, hey, you know what? Your genes are one thing. So you're not necessarily having a jail sentence to just be like your parents were, their grandparents, just because the family has it, just because you're genetically disposed for a particular condition, it doesn't mean that you have to follow in their footsteps, because your lifestyle and your lifestyle choices or lack of lifestyle choices can make all the difference for you. And so in your case, Amir, where you had a family history of mental health issues and you had a genetic disposition to this, talk to us about the epigenetic side of things, of some of the very deliberate choices that you made that made the difference for you on your path to recovery.
Yeah, so epigenetic is the kind of food we eat, like healthy food again, whole food diet. It can turn off the gene and can turn on some of your gene. So if it basically, in a simple word, it helps your body. So, if you have some genetic issues, they're going to be there, but those genes can be turned off as long as you eat healthy diet. That's what it means, turning off the genes is not helping you in any way.
And so for our listeners, this may be new for some of you, and it may be even a little bit outlandish or startling, or, hey, you can't really do that. But the science is behind, Amir, what you're saying. And again, the takeaway should be you don't have a jail sentence that just because you have a genetic disposition to a certain condition or your family's always been like this. Amir, like you're saying, certain actions, in this case, what you eat or what you don't eat, can make all the difference. And I'm wondering, Amir, because you are talking from the trenches, you're not talking theory, you're not talking from, well, hypothetically speaking, you're saying, hey, I was there. Almost didn't make it, but I did very specific things that helped turn my life around. And in chapter number 4, which I found interesting, you talked about how you discovered peace in nature. And talk to us, Amir, what was going on with that? How did immersing yourself in nature and just becoming more of a part of that, why did that make such an impact for you? And what would be some of the learning lessons for our listeners?
Yeah. So science is behind about how nature can heal us. And the phenomenon is called forest bathing. And it started in Japan in 1982 called Shirin QQ. That's the Japanese word. I don't know how to pronounce correctly, but that is how it started in Japan 82. They discovered that how going to nature and just be in nature, connect with ourselves, help with so many psychological and mental issues. Now, I didn't know that at the time, but I was living my life. I come home, I was angry, and one day by chance, I go sit in nearby park for 35, 40 minutes, and I felt great. I didn't know any science behind it. So I went again next day and I started to doing that. And in a month, I felt much better. Now my anger did not go away, but it certainly become much diluted, or the intensity and frequency of anger episode become decrease. And again, I did not have enough time to investigate, but I kept going on nature whenever I can, as long as I can. And it just gives me so much peace, so much feeling good. But then when I get time, I research. So all the science is behind it. And the science is this: all the plants, they secrete essential oils. And that oil to protect, of course, trees and plants, all that. But they certainly help human beings. Depression, anxiety, peacefulness, so many things, they're helpful. So that's what I discovered.
And so for our listeners, what's interesting here with what Amir is sharing, that is science-based. And who would have thought that taking a walk in nature, and maybe you're thinking, well, you know what, Amir, Jeffrey, there aren't any forests nearby. I don't live in nature. Well, how about a park? How about some trees? How about some different kinds of vegetation? Amir, what you're saying is the scent that the trees produce, it affects us in the most positive of ways. The essential oils come from that, and that's what's going to be changing our outlook and our mindset. And so for our listeners, maybe you've had a tough day at the office and you're feeling stressed, you're going down the wrong path. Why not make a deliberate plan in your schedule and take 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, take a walk in the park, a walk in nature if you can, just to unwind and de-stress. Because Amir, one of the things that you said in your book, happiness is a state of mind and a way of being. It's not something that you just check off on a to-do list. Okay, now I'm supposed to be happy. It's a whole way of permeating your life. So how did you have happiness as a state of mind and a way of being? What were some of the strategies that you were using?
So as I said in my book many times, there's a difference between having fun and being happy. I did not know that. I watch movies or eat delicious food and I just feel happy, maybe for an hour, half an hour, maybe a couple hours, and that's about it. But happiness is completely different from having fun or having pleasure. It's feeling that you wake up and you're feeling enthusiastic, you're feeling grateful, and you're looking forward to your day. And on same side, when you go to bed, you are happy to go to bed, and then you're going to wake up tomorrow. So it's a habit, because first you have to learn how to be grateful. That's the first thing. No matter what you have or you don't have, you have to be grateful for whatever health you have, whatever money you have, and whatever position you have, intangible or tangible. That's the first thing, being grateful. And then you have to make a habit. It does not come overnight. When you practice 30 days, Maxwell Maltz in his book, Psycho-Cybernetics, says, if you do a habit, maybe 21 days, it can take effect. So I would say 21 days or more. If you try to be grateful, if you try to be happy, it's going to take effect and become a habit. A habit lies in your subconscious mind, meaning we don't think about it. Like you do your shave or drive your car or brush your teeth. You don't think about how to do. You just do it automatically. And that is how subconscious mind works. So once you do it again and again, it becomes a part of you.
So Amir, I like what you did with part of your habit. And for some of our listeners, this is going to be a different concept for them, but give us the benefit of the doubt. Because Amir, earlier you said you tried the traditional approach with doctors and with medications, prescription drugs. It didn't work. And you kept yourself open to different herbs and vitamins or dietary supplements. And you went down that path. Now, some people may be saying, wait a minute, if my doctor's not prescribing it, it doesn't exist. It's not going to work. This stuff is just overpriced nonsense. But you found success with different vitamins, different herbal supplements. And I like how in your book you said a supplement isn't just a supplement. A vitamin is not just a vitamin, because you have synthetic vitamins, which are made in the lab. And then you have vitamins that actually come from nature. They're actually plant-based. And you stuck with the plant-based. And whether it was helping you sleep, or helping your immune system, or helping you relax, helping you feel better, you found out for you. You put the time in, you did the research to find out the supplements, and you list them in the book of what you took. But how did you overcome some of the negative thinking that's out there? Yeah, I don't want to be a pill-popping freak who's taking all these vitamins that don't work and I'm wasting my money.
I tried out some supplements because if you tried one thing, did not work, you try second thing, did not work. So what choice you have? Either you live life in a hell or you try something you may not believe is going to work, but give it a shot. So there was a herbologist in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and he was really good with herbs. So I just discovered, I used to live in Michigan at that time. So I went to his shop and I discussed how I'm feeling. And he helped me find some good whole food based supplement, not just synthetic, as you said. And I take them and they help me. I mean, they did not completely resolve my problem, make me peaceful. No, but they helped me to a point that I say, yeah, it worked to some extent. I'm happy what I'm getting. Let's do it, If I find a different therapy, different option, I do that too. So that's how I did. But also I did some research about companies who make them and about supplements. And now, of course, I got the help too, professional help.
And Amir, what wonderful takeaways for our listeners, because what you're hearing Amir say is he was open to experimenting. And with the power of the internet now, research is easier than ever. And whether it was a plant-based vitamin, or Amir, I really loved in your book how you talked about going into the forest. We're going to revisit that for just a moment, because in its own way, that's like a different kind of natural, quote unquote, medication for the body. And your book, you're saying, hey, there's all kinds of clinically proven studies that show walking in nature, walking in the forest, it can alleviate depression. You can get better sleep. You can enhance your mental clarity. You can boost your mood. Your immune function goes up. Your blood pressure gets normalized. You can help remove pain relief, and you can lower your levels of stress, cortisol, all from a walk in the forest. Amir, the point here is if you wouldn't have been curious, if you would not have been open to trying different things, you wouldn't have known. And for you, walking in the forest worked. Maybe for other people, it wouldn't, but at least you tried that. And what I want to visit here with you was in chapter 8, you talk about the process of your transformation. So from a high level, in a few sentences, what could you share with our audience when you looked at how you transformed yourself, the strategies that worked for you? What would you say to that? Because again, this is lessons from the trenches. We're hearing from someone who had thoughts of committing suicide, who was having severe mental health issues, had it run in the family, and now not only has overcome it, but is paying it forward, has written a book, changing lives and making a difference. So what were the strategies in your process of your transformation, Amir? What did that look like?
I did a lots of work because your listener may not need all those work depending on their problem, but I had a severe problem. Physical trauma, emotional trauma, my body. So I had to do what I had to do. So I took a week-long Hoffman retreat. I was there for a week. I did Bob Proctor's coaching for a year. He passed away. I did Mary Morse's coaching. I did session with the hypnotherapy because trauma lies in your subconscious mind. So hypnotherapy. I did EMDR. So once I'm getting better. I'm trying more and more ways to heal my body, mind, and a subconscious mind. But the process is this, the first thing is desire, I believe. If you desire to live better life and feel good, this is the first step. And second is the commitment. So suppose, if you have a desire to make $1 million, but if you have no commitment, you will not take any steps. And if you don't take any steps, nothing will change. So you have to follow something like desire and commitment, and then seeing who can offer the best help. I know if I have emotional trauma, it's in my subconscious mind. So I have to go to EMDR or hypnotherapist, the best in the field. So they can help me do that. But again, it's all come from desire, commitment, investing on yourself. I mean, I notice there are people, they can invest lots of money on their house, their car, but they wouldn't think to them it's a new concept to invest on their growth, or I would say personal growth, to heal your trauma, to heal your body and live better life. To them, maybe it's a waste of money. And I think it all depends on perception, because we grew in a society, we think it's okay to buy a $250,000 house. It's okay to have a nice Mustang convertible. It's what I like. So it's okay to have those things, but it's not okay to spend money on your physical, mental, and emotional health. But it's all about your ideas, what ideas you grew up. But like I said, desire, commitment, investing on yourself, betting on yourself. You have to bet on yourself.
And Amir, I'm wondering, as I go through the book and was hearing and walking in your footsteps and your journey of what you went through, and I'm sure some of the listeners are asking this as well, when you're having a mental health issue, your thinking is different. And so you went and took very deliberate steps, whether it was getting more sleep, having more sunshine. I mean, it sounds simple, but don't confuse simple with simplicity. Yes. Even doing evening walks or taking more walks, but you had the desire to do this. And perhaps for some listeners who find themselves in not a great mental health situation, maybe even having thoughts of taking their own lives or going down a very negative path, and they're just saying, I don't have the energy. I don't have the clarity. I don't really have the desire to do what Amir did, to have that curiosity to experiment and see what's going to work or not work. What would you say to those people who find themselves in that situation?
Well, I would say is this: life happens to all of us. You get divorced, you leave your job, you lose your job, you lose your house, you get into accident, you broke your leg. I'm just telling you, life can happen in so many ways. Tragedy, trauma, everything. You don't have much control. The control you have is how you respond. What happens, happens. I believe our experience don't define us. Our stories do. So what I'm saying, if you have a problem, any kind, you have a choice to make. You can live with the problem, may it be a headache or migraine, or go take a pill, or just manage with the symptom. Or you want to look, say, why is happening? What causing it? Look within. Sure, it's going to take some time. It's going to take you energy, and you look within, and then you're going to find the solution. Now, it may not be the same solution as I found. We are all unique individuals, but you would find it. But again, it's all about choice. Are you happy just to making $250,000 and not think about your health? Then that's your choice. I respect that and I understand, but it's your choice at the end.
And so it's all about choice, all about determination and the awareness of changing, wanting something better than where you are right now. And so, Amir, as we begin to wrap up this episode, you have a lot to say, some terrific insights. So I'm looking forward to asking you this question. And I have the privilege of asking every guest on the Deep Wealth podcast the following. So, Amir, I would like you to think about the movie Back to the Future. And in the movie, you have that magical DeLorean car that takes you back to any point in time. So now imagine it's tomorrow morning. You look outside your window, and not only is the car there, but the door is open. It's waiting for you to hop in, and you can now visit any point in your life, whether it's Amir as a young child, a teenager, whatever point in time it would be. What are you telling your younger self in terms of life wisdom or lessons learned, or hey, Amir, do this, but don't do that? What does that sound like, Amir?
It sounds great, I wish I could do that. And if I could do it, I would change my life much, much earlier. I wish I had the awareness. I did not. That's the worst part. And let me just give you one more thing. It all started with movies called Secret. Once I start The Secret, just give me some understanding that we can change our life. So I would change my life much earlier instead of living my life with pain and suffering.
Some terrific advice of having, number one, an awareness of what's going on with you, what's going on around you, how you're interacting with people. And then the second thing I heard you say, Amir, was having positive influences in your life. So in your case, you mentioned the movie The Secret. That really turned you on to, hey, I can be in control of having a better life. I can look to manifest things in a way that have me smiling, have me feeling happy. And those are some wonderful strategies. Amir, we're going to put all of this in the show notes, including the link to your book. And if someone would like to reach out to you online, Amir, what would be the best place?
My website is same as my book's name, From Suicidal to Serene. One word.
Terrific. So again, for our listeners, it'll all be in the show notes. It'll be a point and click. Can't get any easier. And we have Amir, who's the author of From Suicidal to Serene, and it's his own personal journey of helping to heal himself from mental health issues, from depression, from not feeling the best to wanting to continue, to now having a life where he's optimized himself for happiness and he's now paying it forward and making a difference. Well, Amir, we thank you so much for taking part of your day, being so vulnerable, and sharing with us very specific strategies that all of us can use for ourselves, for our friends, for our family members in an area that needs so much more attention when it comes to mental health. And as we close out this episode, Amir, as always, please stay healthy and safe. Thank you so much for being part of the episode and the Deep Wealth community.
Thank you, Jeff. I really appreciate you having me on your show. I really enjoyed it.
The Deep Wealth experience was definitely a game changer for me.
This course is one of the best investments you will ever make because you will get an ROI of 100 times that. Anybody who doesn't go through it will lose millions.
If you don't have time for this program, you'll never have time for a successful liquidity.
I mean, it was the best value of any business course I've ever taken. The money was very well spent.
Compared to when we first began, today I feel better prepared, but in some respects, maybe less prepared, not because of the course, but because the course brought to light so many things that I thought we were on top of that we need to fix.
I 100% believe there's never a great time for a business owner to allocate extra hours into his or her week or day. So it's an investment that will yield results today. I thought I will reap the benefit of this program in 3 to 5 years down the road. But as soon as I stepped forward into the program, my mind changed immediately.
There was so much value in the experience that the time I invested paid back so much for the energy that was expended.
The Deep Wealth experience compared to other programs is the top. What we learned is very practical. Sometimes you learn stuff that is great to learn, but you never use it. The stuff we learned from Deep Wealth experience, I believe is going to benefit us both.
I've done an executive MBA. I've worked for billion-dollar companies before. I've worked for smaller companies before I started my business. I've been running my business successfully now for getting close to a decade. We're on a growth trajectory. Reflecting back on the Deep Wealth, I knew less than 10% what I know now. Maybe close to 1% even.
Hands down, the best program in which I've ever participated. And we've done a lot of different things over the years. We've been in other mastermind groups, gone to many seminars, workshops, conferences, retreats, read books. This was so different. I haven't had an experience that's anything close to this in all the years that we've been at this. It's 5-star, A+.
I would highly recommend it to any super busy business owner out there. And Deep Wealth is an accurate name for it. This program leads to deeper wealth and happier wealth, not just deeper wealth. I don't think there's a dollar value that could be associated with such an experience and knowledge that could be applied today and forever.
Are you leaving millions on the table? Please visit www.deepwealth.com/success to learn more. If you're not on my email list, you'll want to be. Sign up at www.deepwealth.com/podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, if it added value, if you walked away with some new insights and strategies, please leave a review on your favorite podcast channel. Reviews help us reach new listeners, grow the show, and continue to create content that you'll enjoy. And as we wrap up this episode, as always, please stay healthy and safe.